position statement, anterior revision THA. Expand the indications or respecting the limits. In favor of expansion, Aldo Riesgo. In favor of restraint, John Masonis. Pro position in this case will go to Riesgo. 4 minutes.
All right, thank you. You know, it's an honor up here to debate the gifted and great surgeon who taught me for that year in Charlotte. You know, he guided me through what I would consider to be my surgical puberty. You know, he put hair on my chest, taught me to push the boundaries. So I find it ironic here that now we're taking this a point. But, you know, if I had stayed, and if all of us had stayed with just doing, you know, revision for cups or just doing headliners, you know, we wouldn't have been pushing the limits to do triflanges, which a lot of us here say, hey, it's probably better from the front than from the back. You know, a lot of us, we'd still be taking, we wouldn't be doing the femoral revisions, you know, we'd be taking off trochanters like Wayne Proproski, right? So I think if you only practice evidence-based medicine, whatever that means, you know, you'll always be 10 years behind your colleagues and those that are really trying to push the limits. So to me, the last point here is the AHF, you know, it's the Anterior Hip Foundation, and not to say that it's not an international thing, but I almost feel like it's the American Hip Foundation because it's the essence of America's 250th birthday. I want to draw on this, right? As an American, as an immigrant here who came here, I consider myself fully invested in this, right? America's spirit has always been innovation, pushing the limits, right? If not, we'd still be British subjects. And, you know, I like to think of myself as like Lewis and Clark, you know? Not everyone was meant to push into the American frontier, but let me explore it for you, and then you can follow and build after. So I think expanding the indications, as long as you do it in a way that respects your talent as a surgeon and protects your patient, is the way to go.
All right, 4 minutes. Dr. Masonis.
Thank you. Aldo, it's great to have you up on stage here with me. And so I have to ask myself at the beginning of this, are we calling ourselves hip surgeons or are we calling ourselves single approach surgeons? So I think there's a difference. And then is it feasible or is it optimal? I think that's one of the questions that came up in my mind. So is it feasible? I agree with you. I think it is feasible. We push some boundaries and I think we can make surgeries work through the anterior approach. The question is that optimal? So as you know very well, so we've been doing primary total hips for 24 years via DA in Charlotte for me, and then many of our revisions. So I obviously utilized that experience to teach revision exposures for total hip over the last 15, 20 years. And we've trained 230 fellows and residents, including yourself, who've trained a lot of the surgeons here about this. And so one fellow that I can tell you about is extremely talented. He was a very skilled surgeon. He's confident, for sure. And so he reminds me of another guy. I'm from Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. He reminds me of a famous basketball player, Charles Barkley, who is owner of the statement, "I may be wrong, but I doubt it." So, so in cases where the DA is not optimal, I would tell you in cases with an intact femur requiring a revision stem over 220 millimeters, you know, if you think about it, the pelvis becomes lateral as it goes anterior, the ilium does, and the femur has an anterior lateral bow. So as we go into flexion and internal rotation, the femur is accessible. If we go into extension and external rotation, we've now limited our exposure, and we have to now create other options to get this exposure. And in that setting, I would tell you, flexion and internal rotation helps access in an intact femur. So if we're using a stem over 200 millimeters in a revision, and we want to keep the femur intact because there is a 8 to 15% non-union rate of trochanteric osteotomies in revision hip arthroplasty, and we have to acknowledge that as fact. Posterior approach is a valuable tool for us, and now with navigation could be potentially easier for us on the acetabular side. And the last thing I would say is, with experience comes some wisdom, and we have to ask ourselves if we are advocates or zealots.
1 minute rebuttal.
John, I think those are all great points. I will say that a lot of the things that we say, maybe why are we using really, really long stems for some of these revisions? I think some of the anterior colleagues here that have been pushing the limits of maybe using shorter stems for revisions and getting away with it, then that data that comes out, like you're publishing out of your series, that I know you guys are coming out with shorter stems for revisions. It's hard to deviate from things that always work. But again, I think if not, we fall stagnant and stale. I agree. I think not everyone should do very complex revision femoral work from the front. But it begs the question. We don't know if this will be ultimately result in better outcomes for our patients until some of us try it. You have to be comfortable with the hip from all approaches. I do agree with you. I still do an occasional posterior approach when dictated. But there are things and benefits that come about by trying these things, and I think if you don't push the envelope, then you'll never know.
Last word.
Agree. We've pushed the envelope many times. Sometimes it's been a good way to go, and we've learned more from it. Sometimes it's taught us the boundaries. And so all I say is respect the boundaries that have been set.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Excellent. Nice job.